Oh, okay. It's only been 30 years. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajikacharya Ashtototra Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajikacharya Ashtototra Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnavin Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 14th day of August 2024 in San Diego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we are in chapter 10, the Opulence of the Absolute, text number 16. Vaktum arhasi asheshena divya hi atma vibhutayah yabir vibhutibhir lokan imangs tvam vyapya tishtasi vaktamarhasya sheshena divyayatma vibhutayah yabir vibhutibhir lokan imangs tvam vyapya tishtasi vaktamarhasya sheshena divyayatma vibhutayah yabir vibhutibhir lokan imangs tvam vyapya tishtasi vaktamarhasya sheshena divyayatma vibhutayah yabir vibhutibhir lokan imangs tvam vyapya tishtasi. Go ahead. Vaktamarhasya sheshena divyayatma vibhutayah yabhir vibhutibhir lokan imam tvam vyapya tishtasi. Ladies. Vaktamarhasya sheshena divyayatma vibhutayah yabhir vibhutibhir lokan imangs tvam vyapya tishtasi. Vaktamarhasya sheshena divyayatma vibhutayah yabhir vibhutibhir lokan imangs tvam vyapya tishtasi. Anyone online?
Bhaktum arhashi asheshena
Vaktamarhasya sheshena
dibbhai atma vibhutaya
divyayatma vibhutayah
javir vibhutibhir lokan
yabhir vibhutibhir lokan
imam stam vyapatishtasi.
imangs tvam vyapya tishtasi. Vaktam, to say, arhasi, you deserve, asheshena, in detail, divyaha, divine, he, certainly, atma, your own, vibhutayaha, opulences, yabhihi, by which vibhutibhi, opulences, lokan, all the planets, iman, these, tvam, you, vyapya, pervading, tishtasi, remain. Translation. Arjuna says to Krishna, please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. Now, before I continue, there's been a bit of a change, a bit of a editorial adjustment in this first sentence, which I'll explain to you after I finish this short purport. Purport. In this verse, it appears that Arjuna is dissatisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. By Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence, and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have. And through all these agencies, he has understood Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him, there is no doubt. Yet, he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. People in general, and the impersonalists in particular, concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So Arjuna is asking Krishna how he exists in all his all-pervading aspect, in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. One should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of the common people. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Salakaya Chakshu Unminitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So, just to clear up any confusion about this little editorial change, we are on page 439, you have? Okay. So what Prabhupada dictated was, in this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already dissatisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So the editors couldn't figure out what that means. And I think if you puzzle about it, what does that mean, already dissatisfied? You see? So they said, must be satisfied, so they changed it to satisfied. But that wasn't right, because the whole point here is that, as we noted previously, where Arjuna says in text 14, Sarvameta Rita Manya Yanmang Bharasi Keshava, "O Krishna, I accept everything you've told me as the truth," right? Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. So, if he accepts everything that Krishna says as the truth, then he accepts Krishna's description of himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Going all the way back to the critical verse, text 8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattak sarvam pravartate. I am the source of everything, everything emanates from me. Aham sarva mattak sarvam pravartate. Iti mutva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvata. And the intelligent devotees who understand that worship me with all their heart. And then he goes on to describe how they worship me. Matchitta, madgata prana, bodhiyantak parasparam. They always keep their minds on me. That's the first principle of bhakti. Always think of Krishna. And they dedicate their lives to me. Madgata prana, their life energy is gone to me, goes to me. And how do they enjoy? Bodhiyantak parasparam. They come together, my servants, my devotees, and katayantastamam nityam. They're always talking about me, kata. And in this way, tushyanti chadamanti cha. They become very satisfied and enjoy spiritual bliss. And to them, who are acting in that way, my pure devotee, Tesham Satati Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam, who are always connected to me by hearing and chanting about me, Satati Bhajatam Priti Purvakam, with love, the Dami Buddhi Yogantam, I give them the intelligence by which they can come to me. And then he says, Tesham Eva Anukampartam. Now this word Anukampa, this struck me when I first read it. It means out of compassion for them. And the very word compassion in English means that you're responding to the emotional state of someone else. Compassion, you see that? So anukampa, now what is kampa? That's one of the symptoms of ecstasy, right? That's trembling in ecstasy. Or, so anukampa means trembling in sympathy to someone else's trembling. Anu means following, you see? So anukampa has come to mean compassion. Means that you're feeling someone else's passion, you're responding. So Krishna, out of compassion for his devotees, he destroys any remnants of darkness in their heart with the shining lamp of knowledge. These are the four essential verses, you see. And then Arjuna, he says, oh, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shasvatam Divyam, Maridevam, Ajam Vivam. He accepts what Krishna says. You are the Param Brahma, the supreme abode of everything. The supreme purifier and the pure, and all that he can glorify. And it's not that just you're telling me about this. Ahastram Mashiach Sarve, all the great rishis are saying this, Asita, Devala, Vyas. So, and then the next verse, I completely accept everything you say is true. Sarvabeta Mritamanye. That's text 14. Neither the demigods nor the demons can understand you in full, you see. Indeed, only you know yourself by your own internal potency, O Supreme Lord, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. So now he's completely accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so what more? Yes, I'll do whatever you say, right? Skip all of the 18th chapter. What does it say? Kadishe Vachanantava. That's the whole conclusion. Yes, I will do as you say. In other words, he surrenders, and the next thing you know, the war is on, right? Why do we need all these other chapters in between? So Prabhupada explains, in this verse it appears that Arjuna is dissatisfied with his understanding. In other words, why do we have this 16th verse? He's going on. And so Prabhupada explains, but first of all, Arjuna, he has personal experience, he has intelligence, he's knowledge, he's a personal associate of Krishna. So he understands that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him, there's no doubt. Yet he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature. Why? People in general, and the impersonalists in particular, concern themselves mainly with the all-pervading nature of the Supreme. So they need a way to start seeing Krishna in this all-pervading aspect. In other words, everywhere they look. So that's what the rest of the chapter is about. So Arjuna is asking how he, Krishna, exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies, and specifically the vibhuti. Vibhuti means the opulences. Now Prabhupada transformed the language. I don't know if it's gotten in the dictionary yet. You look it up in a dictionary from maybe 10 years ago, or even today, but for sure. Opulence is not an aspect of opulence. Opulence is having wealth, is the quality of being wealthy. That's opulence. But Prabhupada broke it down. No, there's 6 different opulences, right? And that's the way, that's current in ISKCON. You wouldn't think of it. So that's what he's talking about here. The vibhutis are the opulences, of which 6 are most prominent. This is the definition of God according to Parashara Muni. Who can say what his position is? Whose father is he? Anyone know? Vyasadeva. Okay. Vyasadev's father, Parashara Muni, and I'm not sure where this verse appears, but it's always quoted as the definition of Bhagavan. The very word Bhagavan means possessor of opulences, right? Bhaga's opulences. Van is, we know Vans. They have everything over there. When I came and I saw that name, I said, well, that's pretty interesting, Bhagavan. I picked it up. So what are those opulences? Aishwaryasya, opulence itself, wealth. Aishwaryasya samagrasya, but not just a lot of wealth, all the wealth. All the wealth belongs to Krishna. First verse, mantra, not the invocation, but the first mantra of the Isha Upanishad. Who knows it? You've been around long enough. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Ishavasyam idam sarvam jagat sarvam nijat jagat chaktena bunjita magunda kasasviddanam. Sorry, I'm off the word or two. But it says, right in the Upanishad, it says, the Isha, the Supreme Lord, owns everything. Ishavasyam idam sarvam jagat, I'm sorry, I messed up the second line. Whatever there is in the universe, he owns. We are allowed to have what we need for our maintenance, but not more. One should not covet more than that. That's the first one. So Krishna owns all the opulence, and he proved it, how wealthy he was. Prabhupada always likes to give the example of the 16,000 queens, that everyone had a palace, and there were jewels everywhere, the whole thing. No limit. So Aishya samagrasya, viryasya, strength, who can deny it? Look, each corner. Can we even lift like 100-pound bag of rice? Okay. The whole mountain. Just easily. 7 days and nights. He didn't sleep, he didn't eat. Nobody else did either. They just relished his company without the interruptions. Usually he goes out to the forest, and the gopis are pining. Mother Yashoda is worrying as he's stepping on the hard ground. That's so much thing. Oh, he's coming back. Look, there's the dust. You hear the flute? I think they have a place on the top of the house where they can all go up there to see Father, So, but this was no interruptions. 7 days, 7 nights. It was special, So, Viryasya, Yashasha, who knows what Yasha means? Yes. Very good. Famous. That's also, and all of these opulence make one more attractive, The billionaires, everyone wants to talk to them, right? Oh, how attractive they are. Maybe I can get some, even a little million. You can spare it, So the money attracts, and fame certainly attracts, and strength, and Shriya, especially beauty. Krishna is the most beautiful. And then one of the last two. Anyone remember? Which is? Detachment. Yes, that's more precise than renunciation. Because renunciation means you literally give it up. That comes up in the 18th chapter, the difference between tyaga and vairagya. Tyaga is literally giving up. There's plenty of that we do. But more important is vairagya. Hare Krishna, welcome. Hari Bol. So we have class until 8:15, then we have darshan. Yeah. Class, yeah, you're welcome. Or you can come back at 8:15. Yeah, sit here, ladies here. But we need a book. Give it. We're on page 439. You can find it. So jnana, of course, knowledge. His knowledge is unlimited. He knows everything. What is that? I am forgetting my verses. I know everything in the past, everything that's happening in present, everything will happen in the future. But me, no one knows. That's in the 7th chapter. What is it?
The rest of the verse is
Shannam Bhaga Itingana. These 6 opulence. Yeah, yeah. So knowledge, infinite knowledge, which is inconceivable. You know, that to me, that's the most amazing one. Everything that's happening now, what to speak of everything that happened 10,000 years ago, every little thing, you know, and everything. Because he's all pervading as a super soul. That's another way in which he knows everything. And then finally, this vairagya, which is detachment. And that he demonstrated that in the queens. You know, he had the 16,108 queens and 16,108 palaces with all opulence and everything. But you know, very touchingly, when that cock crowed in the morning, you know, just at sunrise, when it's just getting a little light, and the cock, Krishna would get out of bed, you know, and his queens were disgusted, he said, and they had to get out of bed. And he would go and he would sit and meditate. Who remembers what he meditated on? Himself. What else did he have to meditate? We don't meditate on ourselves, though. We meditate on Krishna. So he showed that, and of course, he also left the rasa dance, you know, and he left Vrindavan itself, you know. So he's detached, but he's also controlled by love. See, this is the thing. He responds to love, but he himself, you know, he already owns everything. So those are the 6 opulences, and he has them in full. So Arjuna is said, well, I believe everything you said. So the point is that he is asking this question, and in fact, we can assume the rest of the Gita is also Arjuna's questions and answers for us, because he's originally an intimate associate of Krishna. He's put into Maya by Krishna so that the Gita can be spoken. That should be understood. So he's taking this role, and of course now he's been enlightened, and now he's going to delve into many of the same things, like the 3 modes of nature. They were mentioned in chapter 7, but just in passing. Daiviyesha gunamahi mama maya duratya. But in chapter 14, we'll go into detail about those 3 modes of nature, what the symptoms are, and how can one transcend them, and what's the symptom of one who transcends. Is a very important chapter. So he's starting now. Tell me in detail of your divine opulence by which you pervade all these worlds, and by which those who are not self-realized or God-realized yet, they can begin to see you in these wonderful things. So when we see the ocean, we can remember, oh, Krishna says, yes, of bodies of water, I am the ocean, right? And anything wonderful, showing great power or opulence or beauty, you say, oh, this is a little reflection of Krishna's beauty and opulence. And in that way, you're always reminded of Krishna. So that's the idea behind 16. Any questions on 16? And we'll go on. Text 17, top of page 440. Katam vidyamaham yogims tvam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chinchosi bhagavan maya. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you? And how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? Purport. As it is stated in the previous chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by his Yoga Maya. Only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. Now Arjuna is convinced that his friend Krishna is the Supreme Godhead, but he wants to know the general process by which the all-pervading Lord can be understood by the common man. Common men, including the demons and atheists, cannot know Krishna, because he is guarded by his Yogamaya energy. Again, these questions are asked by Arjuna for their benefit. The superior devotee is concerned not only for his own understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind. So Arjuna, out of his mercy, because he is a Vaishnav, a devotee, is opening for the common man the understanding of the all-pervasiveness of the Supreme Lord. He addresses Krishna specifically as yogin because Sri Krishna is the master of the Yoga Maya energy, by which he is covered and uncovered to the common man. The common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna. Therefore, he has to think materially. Arjuna is considering the mode of thinking of the materialistic persons of this world. The words keshu keshu cha bhaveshu refer to material nature. The word bhava means physical things. Because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations. So this is good instruction for any aspiring transcendentalist, how we can begin to see Krishna everywhere. But we also have a very special means of thinking of Krishna, not in the material energy, but in the spiritual energy, through the name, the Hare Krishna mantra that's been given by Krishna himself in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these processes, they work in conjunction. Hare Krishna. So actually, you can sit on one of these benches. They're very comfortable. Oh, we have 2 young students. Okay. Okay. They're so nice and quiet. If that continues, we'll be we'll be good. So these 2 aspects, seeing Krishna everywhere and also remembering him within, and remembering him, the form and the qualities of Krishna, and the name, specifically the name. This is a mystical process by which we can Krishnaize. I love that word. Prabhupada always said Krishnaize, but they edited that to be Krishnaized. But I'm going to go back to Krishnaized. I think everyone understands what that means. So we need to Krishnaize our own consciousness, so that we come to the point where, and this is what the pure devotee, everything reminds them of Krishna. They see Krishna in everything. You see another person, you see, oh, the super soul is there. This person, as a intelligence of a human being, maybe they can take some Krishna consciousness. So why don't I give them a book, or show them a picture, or give them some prasadam, or whatever. So that's connecting everything. Connecting our own activities, our mind, our intelligence to Krishna through activities, prescribed activities. So Arjuna is part of that. He's now preaching. He wants Krishna to give a list, and he will, of things that show some kind of special power, because it's vibhuti, some kind of special glory in this material world. And it'll help us, just like in chapter 7, we learned the basic things. Rasoham Sukonteya, I am the taste of water, right? When you take that water, you think, oh, that's Krishna. Yes, he says, Rasoham Sukonteya. The sun and the moon, oh, the sunshine is out. That's what Krishna says, you see. So in this way, you're always thinking of Krishna. We should always remember, the verse that begins with the words, always remember. Smartavyak satatam Vishnu. Vismartavyo najatuchit. Sarva vidinashedaksyur eteoro vikinkara. That in the process of bhakti yoga, all of the vidhis are the prescriptions in the shastra, you see, or from the guru, what you should do, prescriptions. But there's also a concomitant number of proscriptions, things you shouldn't do. Prescription, proscription. So that the vidhi is prescription, nisheda is proscriptions. So all of the recommendations of what to do and what not to do in the scripture are servants of these 2 things. Smartavyak satatam Vishnu. To always remember Vishnu. And Prabhupada gives a translation of this verse several times in his books. It appears in the CC, I think. And he says, it begins with, Krishna is the supreme form of Vishnu, the original form of Vishnu. So that when it says, Smartatam satatam Vishnu, you can take it, always think of Krishna. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. All the other principles, getting up early, taking a shower, not engaging in gross sinful activity, and performing, chanting the japa, certainly, hearing the holy name, Julan Yatra, the special occasions, Ratha Yatra, right? All of them are meant to increase our remembrance of Krishna. Just like it's so wonderful. Those who were in the Ratha Yatra, we can share remembrances. Oh yes, I remember we were walking down, the Balaram, and it was so nice. You remember that fog? That was so wonderful. It made the temperature come down. It was so the whole experience, helps you to remember Krishna. And there's nothing like sharing Krishna Gita with your friends. That's what is that verse? Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkan rasaya nakata tadjo shanarasu apavarga vartmani shraddharati bhaktiranu kramishiti. This is a verse spoken by Kapila Dev to his mother in teachings. Right near the beginning of his teachings, chapter 25, beginning text 20 of the third canto. And it goes on for 8 verses. It's an ashtaka. What kind of ashtaka? Sadhu Sangashtaka. Because he all talks about the importance of associating with sadhus. Who are sadhus? He gives a nice description. Forgive me, I love these verses. Because this is what ISKCON is all about. Prasangan means the society, coming together and sharing. So he says, he begins, Prasangam Majaram Pasham, he's speaking to his mother. Prasangam Majaram Pasham, Atmanak Kavayo Vadu, Sahesha Sadhu Shukato, Moksha Dwarava Parvatam. I put that one into a little poem. Mundane affection keeps us tied to birth and death, infernal. But love for sadhus opens wide the doors to life eternal. You see? So then what's the next question? All right, who's the sadhu? How do I recognize the sadhus? Very famous verse. Titikshava Karunika, Suridak Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatravak Shanta, Sadhavak Sadhubhushana. Here are the ornaments of a sadhu bhushana. Bhushana is ornaments of a sadhu. The first one is very tolerant. I always think of Prahlad Maharaj. Who could be more tolerant than Prahlad? It's just, you don't even want to think of what his father put him through. And yet he just tolerated it all by absolute deep remembrance, samadhi, and thinking of Krishna. He's the archetype, he's the great exemplar of thinking, of remembering Krishna in the 9 processes. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. So Titikshava, but also Karunita, full of mercy, which means that he's a preacher. He's trying to help others to be Krishna conscious. And we know that that's also sometimes very difficult, and you may have opposition and great difficulties. So you have to tolerate those and continue to Karunita, because Suridak Sarvadehinam, because you're the best well-wishing friend of all living entities. And Prabhupada makes a point in the Purba, that includes the cows. It's not just the human beings, and not all the other animals, the sentient beings. You don't want to hurt them at all, and you try to help them. Especially the human beings who can become Krishna. So Suridak Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatravat, your enemy is never born. You may have others who take you as an enemy. Hiranyakashipu, everyone who was against Jesus Christ, right? So, but you yourself don't have any enmity toward anyone. And therefore, Shanta, very peaceful. So these are the ornaments of a sadhu. And it's interesting, there was no mention of bhakti in any of that qualities. That's the next verse. How do you get those qualities? So Kapila Dev, an incarnation of Krishna, is speaking, Mai ananyena bhavena bhaktim kuvanti yedvidham matkrate chakta karmanas chakta swajana bandhava. So it's characterized by undeviating pure devotion to me, to Krishna. Kapila Dev speaking. Mai ananyena bhavena bhaktim kuvanti, executed with great determination. And how? What's the proof? Mat krite chak the karmanas. For my sake, they'll give up any activity that's not in the program of Krishna consciousness. And even if their friends and relatives are impediments, they'll even separate from those. You see. But that doesn't have to be. You can make your household into a nice temple. So, then what? What do? Malashya katam rishta shinbandi katayandi cha tapandi vivadastaban naitad mangata chetasan. Here's how they avoid any suffering in this world. Marashya, in this context, the word ashya means it's describing kata. It can be on any subject, right? But it's kata. But their kata, their talks have all taken shelter of me. In other words, they concern me. They concern Krishna and everything about Krishna consciousness. So Marashya kata mrishta, and those talks about me are very enlivening, very sweet, very blissful. Shinbandi katayandicha, hearing and chanting in association. And then what's the result? The first result, the their minds have gone to me, and therefore they don't suffer very much, even from things that would bring ordinary suffering, because they're absorbed in thought of me. And amazing, because I heard Prabhupada give a lecture on each of these. There's a book, Teachings of Lord Kapila Dev, and that takes in these verses. That was recorded, I think, mostly in Bombay in '74, something like that. And so it was made into a book. You take the actual verses with the translations and the purports, and then you append selections from Prabhupada's lectures on those verses. That's how the teachings of Queen Kunti was made, the teachings of Lord Kapila Dev, and Dharma, the way of transcendence. That was my idea of making that book. So back to this wonderful Ashtaka. Now, so that's describing who the sadhu is. Sadhu is a pure devotee, you see. And then, so it's Tayete Sadvi. And now I'm sorry, I forget the rest of the Sanskrit in this verse. Oh, Sadvi. This is interesting. He addresses his mother as Sadvi. That's a female sadhu. You're already a sadhu. His mother is Sadvi. This is who you should associate with, because by associating with Sava dosha hiterata, Sangha dosha hiterata, you'll be able to purify yourself of all the faults and remnants of previous bad association. Sangha dosha. Dosha is a fault. It's also something you eat, a dosha. Yeah? But maybe it's a different spelling, I don't know. But so Sangha dosha hite rata, you'll be able to counteract the bad remnants of previous bad association. And then we come upon the shining jewel within these 8 verses that is the most famous verse. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavantirit kana rasayana kata tadjoshanara shrabhavarga vatmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishiti. So the Kapila Deva is speaking as the incarnation of Krishna. Satam prasangan. Satam are the sadhus, those are the devotees. Now here you got not sangha, but prasanga, which was the beginning, the first word in the Ashtaka. Prasangam madharam bhaja. Prasanga means, in that context, very strong attachment. Sangha can mean attachment or association, because from association you become attached. So they have both. So, but here, so the first prasanga means very strong attachment to material things can be counteracted by associating with sadhus. That's the first verse. So here it says, Satam prasangan, very meaningful association now, not attachment, but association with the saints. Mama virya samvido. What will happen? You'll hear my glories chanted. Mama virya samvido, which act bhavanti ritkana rasayana, a life-giving elixir for the ears and the heart, very enlivening. Ritkana rasayana kata about me. And then following this process, tad joshanad ashu, quickly, apavarga vartmani, at the path of apavarga. Apavarga means liberation. Now it's very interesting. Prabhupada would always give the analysis of this word, apavarga. Those who know Sanskrit a little bit know that there are different vargas of letters, different categories of letters, groups of letters. And so one of is the pa vargas. The vargas headed by pa, which are labials. Pa with the H, ba, and ma, 5 letters. And each of them stands for another unpleasant aspect of materially conditioned life. Pa means parishrama, working very hard. Don't you have to work very hard these days? 2 jobs and still can't pay the rent, right? So that's very foam, to the point where you get foam coming from your mouth. That's the pa, painila. So you get pavarga, parishrama, and painila, foam coming from the mouth. And the next one is, it has two meanings. One is banda, you keep getting bound up. You keep getting bound up by this fruit of activity. Or bhyartada means you're frustrated. Frustration, because you can't get ahead, your rent keeps going up, and you know, whatever. So that's material life. Bondage. And then bhaya, fear. You see, because you're working hard, death is coming. And then finally, of course, M. What do you think it stands for? Come on. What happens after all of this? Work hard, you get older and older and older and sicker? Mrityu, death. So that's pavarga, but this is apavarga. So this process negates that. In other words, you get liberation. And here in the verse, he says, apavarga vartmani, the path of liberation. Quickly you attain these things. Shraddha, your faith deepens. You're in association with devotees, glorifying Krishna. And what's the archetype of that association, hearing and chanting? Kirtan, Sankirtan. I chant, you hear, you chant, I hear. So, Shraddha increases, your faith increases. Rati, your attraction to Krishna increases. And Bhakti, which here means pure prema bhakti, your love for Krishna. Bhakti anukramashati, step by step. So that is the description of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Society, association, Sangha, see? So that's the Sadhu Sangashrika, 3, 25, 20 through 27. And there's several other verses that describes the final result of it. So I highly recommend it. Those who have this nice set of Bhagavatams at home, or just get on Vedabase.io, and you can read all the books, and you look up 3, 25, 20. And Prabhupada's purports are wonderful. Okay, where did that start? Katam vidya maham yogim? Yes, how should I think of you? So he's asking Krishna to explain his vibhutis, and he'll start doing that in a few verses. All right, text 18. Vistaren atmano yogam vibhutim chajanardana bhuya kadaya triptirhi Shinvato nasti memratam. O Janardhan, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. So this is Arjuna in ecstasy. Purport. A similar statement was made to Sudha Goswami by the rishis of Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka. That statement is, Vayam tuna vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yat chinvatam rasa jnanam swadu swadu pade pade. One can never be satiated, even though one continuously hears the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, who is glorified by excellent prayers. Those who have entered into a transcendental relationship with Krishna relish at every step the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1-19. Thus Arjuna is interested in hearing about Krishna, and specifically how he remains as the all-pervading Supreme Lord. Now, there's a comma there. We put the comma in, it should be there. Now, as far as Amritam, nectar, is concerned, any narration or statement concerning Krishna is just like nectar. And this nectar can be perceived by practical experience. Modern stories, fiction, and histories are different from the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, in that one will tire of hearing mundane stories, but one never tires of hearing about Krishna. It is for this reason only that the history of the whole universe is replete with references to the pastimes of the incarnations of Godhead. The Puranas are histories of bygone ages that relate the pastimes of the various incarnations of the Lord. In this way, the reading matter remains forever fresh, despite repeated readings. So this is right at the beginning of the Bhagavatam. What do we find? Well, we find two very serious verses. First one is giving the subject matter. Janmadyasya yatanvayadi tadatashtesha bhigya swarat tene brahma vidaya adikabhye muhyanti yat suryaha tejo vanimadam yatavinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha Damna svena sadhana rastakuvakam satyam padam dhimahi. Now that word dhimahi is invoked because the Bhagavatam is said to be a commentary on the Gayatri mantra. Remember the Gayatri mantra is all dhimahi, I'm meditating. But I'm not going to give you a translation of that. You should know what verse. But it's, but basically it answers the first injunction of the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra, the Bhagavatam is said to be the best commentary, final commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. And that's why Lord Chaitanya did not write one or have his disciples write one, because he felt that we had already Bhagavatam. But then there was a whole issue in Jaipur from some Brahmins who were saying, oh, you're not a real Sampradaya, you don't have the Brahma, a commentary. Ramanuja has a commentary and all these have a commentary. So they wanted Vishwanath Chakravarti, who was the most learned scholar at that point, to come, but he was kind of aged, he didn't feel he could do it. So he assigned his best, most learned disciple, who is Prabhupada, Baladev Vidyabhushan. Baladev Vidyabhushan, his very name, he wasn't born with that name, Vidyabhushan. That was given to him. It means Baladev, who has the ornament of Vidya, knowledge. He's given that because he's so learned. So he went to Jaipur and he prayed for 3 days to the Govinda deity who was there. This is Rupa Goswami's deity, had escaped from the Patans or whatever. And the garland fell down, and giving him the blessing. So he called it Govinda Bhashya. He felt that Govinda was writing it and he was just taking down dictation. So anyway, that's we do have a Gaudiya Vaishnava commentary on Vedanta Sutra, but still we accept the most authoritative, thorough, and complete commentary is the Bhagavatam itself. And then, so that's the subject matter. Then the second one says about this specific book, Dharma Projatakaita Votra. We're kicking out all fake and cheating dharmas here. This wonderful Purana, which is understood only by those who are free from envy, Nirmatsaranam Satam, Vejam Vastavam. This is going to give you the Vastava Vastu, the actual ultimate substance. What is Brahman, you see? Shivadam, Tapata, uproots the threefold miseries and brings all good fortune. Tapatayo Nuladam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Pramanam Amalam. Srimad Bhagavate, Mahamuni Kute, which is written by the great Muni, Vyasadeva Muni, in his maturity. King Vaparayar, what do you need anything else? Ishvara Sadhyo Rijyavate. If you read this Bhagavatam with great attention, then you'll have the Lord manifest in your heart, you see. So that's the second verse, very serious. And the third verse, into the nectar, you see. Nigamakal galitam palam shukamakaramita drapasam yutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam mohodaho rasika bhuvibhavaka. So this Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic knowledge, you see? The desire tree. Nigamakal galitam palam. And Prabhupada's immortal statement in the synonyms, you got to read those synonyms. Galitam palam. Galita means semi-soft and easily swallowable. You see? So it's like one of these mangoes that practically you have to drink it, right? It's so it's mature. So Galitambalam Shukamukad, and it emanated from the mouth of Shuka, the parrot. So there's this whole thing, a parrot, if it touches the fruit, it becomes sweeter, Shukamukad Amrita Dravasam. It's just like flowing nectar. Amrita Dravasam Yutam. Pibata Bhagavatam, that's imperative. Okay, you Rasikas, now drink the Bhagavatam repeatedly. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasam Aliyam. Now for many, many years, I think Rasam Aliyam, it seems like it means Aliyam is an abode and Rasam is the nectar. So why isn't it Rasam hyphen Aliyam? This is an abode of Rasa. It doesn't make sense. Because it's not Rasam. Drink this nectar of the Bhagavatam. Hyphen Layam. Layam is a word that means ultimate destruction of your material life, to liberation, up to and beyond liberation. Drink this Bhagavatam. It still stays sweet even when you're liberated. Mohoraho, again and again. Rasika, that's why Prabhupada set up the morning Bhagavatam there. Rasikas, Mohoraho Rasika, Bhuvi Bhavaka, you who are so wise on this face of this earth. So he's joining us to constantly drink it. And therefore, then you'll never get satiated. That's the thing, you see? You get satiated by anything material. All right, enough already. I can't drink any more sweet rice or anything. Anything mundane. Because sweet rice is not mundane if it's offered, but still there's a limit. But there's no limit to how much nectar you can drink through the year. So that's what Krishna is encouraging. Arjuna is encouraging Krishna to then describe his glories in this world, because he's relishing Krishna's description of his Krishna Gita. And then Krishna will say, I think, which we'll pick it up on Monday, that I can only tell you about the leading vibhutis because I have unlimited vibhutis. So then he begins to describe them, and it's very illuminating. All right, if there's no discussion, we have a minute or two for poems, final poem. Oh, are you okay? All right, we're going to have kirtan just in 5 minutes, so just hang in there. Okay. So here's a classic one. This is a prayer to Queen Kunti. All of us can embrace this prayer. Tvaime yananne vishaya mati marupate yasakrit ratamun vahataradha gange baughumudanvati. O Krishna, kindly ever fill my mind with thoughts of thee, not any other kind. As Ganges torrent flows into the sea, let all my love flow constantly to thee. Hare Krishna. So here's one more by Rupa Goswami. You ready? Pujanga da prachandakas pada khanda chudankure niranka shadra ghanchala brahmina badha bringam brahme patanga duhitustati vanakuti keri priye padas padatume mohus tvai mukunda shuddharati. Similar prayer, same idea. It says, you wear the best of crests, a crown of perfect peacock plumes. Your dancing glances stun the bees meandering midst the blooms. You relish love play in a cottage by Kalindi's shore. O Krishna, may pure love for you be mine forevermore. Going to be a more perfect thing. And finally, one real short one. This is from the Govinda Lilamrita. I didn't put it in a poem, but I'll explain it. But you can hear the poetry in the Sanskrit. It's very obvious. Very difficult. Beginning and the end of each line rhymes. It's very hard to do, I know, because I try writing poetry. Denu vrindamanamandamantam Venu gitamamatam visrajantam Renu duchitakalalakavantam Kenu vikshasumayo namodantam. So Denu, cows, right? Vrindam, herds. Denu vrindamanaman. So Krishna is bringing the cows home. He's got his own thousands and thousands of cows, and he's walking behind them in the forest, very leisurely, not rushing, just relishing everything. Denu vrindam anumandam, following ayantam. Venu Gitam, the song of the flute. Venu Gitam. Amritam Visrajantam. He's creating the most nectarian song on the flute as he just walks. Venu Gitam Amritam Visrajantam. And as they're walking, these thousands of cows, the rudge, the dust of Vrindavan is coming up and is powdering his beautiful curly locks, which are swaying as he walks so gracefully. Renu Rushita Chalalakavantam. Ke nu vikshasamayor namodantam. Who indeed, seeing this sight, would not attain mud antam, the end of all joy, the highest bliss. You see? So you can see it. You can see it in your mind. That's seeing. You memorize the verse, very easy, it's a short one. And you learn the meaning of all the words. And then you just chant it 10 times. And you think of the meaning, and how could you not see it? You're seeing it. You're seeing it in your mind's eye. And if you keep doing it, you become pure, then you'll attain the highest bliss. It says, promise. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Haribol. So we'll resume on Monday. Thank you for your patience. The children did very, very well. Thank you very much. Very exceptional. And thank you for our online audience. Haribol. All glories to Prabhupada.